Okay, the first thing you're going to need is obviously a keg. Now you want to cut the keg into 3 main components, but always remember, make sure the keg has been degassed. Now the base needs to be cut just on the outer rim part, just where it bulges out right in the middle there. And the lid, you want to cut that just where it starts to groove in. The reason being is because the midsection will flip upside down and then they'll bevel into each other and they'll seal in a nice closed gap. Now you don't have to do this, but I just got a 1 meter ruler and it has a hole in it so I could put my black mark and pen in there, and I just ran a line over that outer bevel part there. Just something for me to follow. Like I said, you don't have to do this, but I did this, and I just used my hand there, my other hand, as a guide. There it is, right on the outer large part of that bevel. Now the lid, I'm just marking this just where it starts to bevel back inward, using my left hand there as a guide. There we are. So just where it starts to bevel inward. Now I've just got some stainless steel grinders. It's 125 millimeter, nice and thin grind blades. The reason why I got 3 was just in case they break or damage. I only ended up using 2 of those, so there they are, nice and thin blades. Yeah, 125 millimeter stainless steel cutting blades. The reason why they're nice and thin is so they cut. Actually, it's really easy to cut with thin blades. I've got a bucket of water there, just in case there's a spark fire on the blankets. Safety gear and goggles. Now, with the fine blade, you'll be quite surprised how easy it cuts through that. Now, it's most important that you don't let the blade drop into the keg. For safety, you only want to be cutting with a small portion of the blade. Because what will happen if the blade drops in, it'll kick back. And there you have it. There is the base of the Hangi keg. Now to cut the lid, same again, you want to be cutting just where it starts to curve in. And remember what I said, don't let the blade drop all the way in, otherwise you'll get a kickback. I actually used my second blade on this, so I had one blade left over. I didn't manage to damage any blades in the process. So there's your lid. It's cool, it's got handles there, that goes on top. Now, that's your base, and your midsection you flip upside down, and there's your lid. Now what I've done was I actually changed blades to a thicker grinder. Don't use your cutting blade to be smooth off the edges. So a nice thick grinder blade, just to smooth off the rough edges. I found that was plenty. I didn't have to go over with a bit of metal sandpaper. It was actually quite good after using that grinder to get it nice and smooth again. That way you're not going to cut yourself when you're making a hangi or working with a hangi. And this is your midsection. This is the section where your food is actually going to sit in. So you will need a stainless steel grill to be welded into that midsection, which I'll show you in a moment. And this is the lid. So I don't actually have a welder, so what I've done was I found a large grill, stainless steel grill. I took that in and they welded that grill for me. So there's your base, and there's your midsection where you're going to flip it upside down. Yeah, so that bevels into that bevel there, and then you've got the other bevel on top where the lid slides in. There you go. Now, like I said, I had a welder place the grill on the ground and they welded inside. See the welding inside of the grill? Weld on the inside, and then they cut off the excess on the outside after it was welded and then cleaned it up. So yeah, you lay the grill down on the ground. You put that base ring over it and weld inside the ring itself, and then you cut the outer part out, and then that sits onto your base, and that's what your meat and all your food sits on. Now, one thing I did do was I threw the midsection into a fire just to burn off any impurities from the welding or the metal, because really this is what your food's going to sit on. So I just wanted to make sure I burnt off all those impurities there. And once I was happy, I let it cool down, and then I scrubbed it down with a steel brush and cleaned it all up nice and clean. Yeah, keep rinsing it and cleaning it. There you go, ready to go. Now the base, I got a 3 burner there from Bunnings for about $80. I'm using LPG gas, a couple of bricks, and that's what it's going to sit on. Now I've preheated the base, and I'm just going to smoke the food for a little bit. I've got some hickory wood chips, so I'll just put in about a handful of that. If you're going to use manuka chips, you really only want around about a teaspoonful. And you want to smoke it for 10 to 20 minutes. So you can see it's starting to smoke already, because that plate is nice and hot. I've got the 3 burner burning right now, so that's all hot. Got my meat, my pork and my chicken. Got some vegetables and stuffing inside a muslin cloth. Place the lid on top there, yep, and a damp tea towel rolled up to put inside. Now, one thing I did do is when the steam started coming out of the midsection. So that's been smoked. There we go. That's been smoking for a while now, about 20 minutes. So what I do now is I get about a kettle full of hot boiling water, pour that in. Now it's really important you don't use too much water, otherwise you're going to steam it too much and you lose the flavour. You don't want too less of water that the water and the brine start to burn and taint the food. So you just want enough water in there to create a steam and some type of thick gravy. Now I'm putting my damp muslin cloth around the edge again just to seal in the steam and the heat. Now I'm placing the food back on. There we go. Seal it in there, and then I've got a bit of cabbage with some butter and seasoning. Now once you put that in there, you can put a damp tea towel right across the top of that ring there before you put the lid on. I found halfway through the steam was coming through, so I did end up putting a tea towel right across that damp tea towel. So there it is, burning away. Just keep adjusting the temperature as you need to. You don't want to burn it too much. So there it is, it's all cooked. Like I said, I did check this halfway through, so you open it up, you just quickly check the meat and then put it back together and cook for the remainder. So there you go, it's all ready to go, all the flavour and steam. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. This is vegetables. That's the pork. All nice and juicy. Oh. Cabbage, all moist with butter gone through it. Yum, 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 yum. Yep. Stuffing, beautiful stuffing inside a muslin cloth. Oh, beef. Oh, yeah, falling off the bone. Okay, there we go. Chicken.
It's falling apart. Look at it.
Oh yes, falling apart. Look at it. Beautiful. Yum, yum. There you have it. There, it's not going to be exactly the same as an in-ground hangi, but when you're in Australia and there are fire restrictions, this is the best way to go. You still get that hangi type sort of flavour. Beautiful, juicy. Look at that. Oh, yeah, a bit of gravy. Oh, get the sauce on there, kids. A bit of salt. Get the bread and the butter. So I hope you all like that, guys, and give it a go. It's really easy. Don't forget to push the like button, and thanks for watching.